Good morning. Hey, it's the Morning Buzz. I'm Lawrence Holmes. Thanks for hanging out. The Morning Buzz is brought to you by the fine folks over at Remy Martin. See, like my jacket, Remy Martin. We love Remy Martin. I get to be a brand ambassador. That's a very cool thing. I wanted to talk a little bit of basketball with you today. Watching the Bulls take care of the Pistons last night, and they've won 18 out of the last 20 games against Detroit. That Detroit team is on the way up, though. I will say that. Kay Cunningham's playing well. They figured some things out. They're on the come up, but the Bulls took care of business last night. Vooch was really good last night, and so was Zach LaVine. And that's what I want to spend some time talking about. I remember Dan and I discussing like what this season of Bulls basketball was going to be. And one of the things that I said was, I don't like the idea of just put Zach LaVine in bubble wrap until you're going to trade him, because you know that you're going to trade him. And I don't think that the Bulls are, even though they're ninth right now, I don't think the Bulls are a playoff or even a play-in contender once all the moves are made to kind of get this thing going. With that being kind of the backdrop for how I feel about this season, I wanted to see Zach LaVine go in and ball out, because that's what makes him most tradable. Zach's an interesting study because I don't think he's a bad guy. My interactions with him are very limited, but I don't think that he's a bad guy. I do think that there was a point where he was playing the role of bad guy. I do think that there was, when he joined up with Clutch Sports, it felt like he needed to act a certain way as a max NBA player. And I don't think that it served him. I don't think it's who he is, or at least who he had recently like projected himself to be. I think Zach is a guy that is so talented that they're like, hey, you could do this if you wanted to, and you could make a whole lot of money. I've always said that the difference between him and DeMar is that I feel like DeMar like eats, sleeps, drinks basketball. Like DeMar to me is a hooper, and Zach is a really talented guy that hoops. So trying to figure out what his value is, where he fits on a championship level team, whether he's going to be worth trading for, and knowing that he's probably never going to be, because he's 11 years in now. You're lead dog on a really good team. That's been, I think, proven. There's not a lot of evidence going in the other direction in that regard. But I have enjoyed watching him play this year. And last night was another example of that. He goes crazy in the fourth quarter. He hit 6 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. He is bouncing, like you see him bouncing. And the athleticism, I know that he's removed from a couple of injuries with his knees. The athleticism, when we used to see Zach in the dunk contest with Aaron Gordon, and they're going back and forth, and he's flying all over the place, that explosiveness is back in his game. And instead of, we're seeing, it happened in last night's game, I think it was the third quarter, it's a fast break where he lets the defender kind of take a swipe and goes up and under and dunks. So we're seeing like the quickness, the lateral quickness with him on the wing, getting to the basket. We're seeing the explosion when he jumps up in the air. We're seeing a guy who right now is shooting 43% from behind the arc. He's 50-42, 50-42 and 77. He should be a better free throw shooter because he's an excellent shooter. He's an excellent shot maker, and all of it is on display. And this is exactly what you should be rooting for as a Bulls fan. And I know, and I think Speaks and I are going to talk about it at some point, we live in the land of this is going to get team X to this. It's a sucky place to live. But the Bulls have kind of made their plans pretty evident. That's what this Josh Giddey experiment is. And notice when the game is on the line, when they are trying to finish a game, it is not Josh Giddey who is on the floor. It is Ayo Dosunmu who is on the floor. Why? Because Ayo is a very good defender and a very responsible basketball player. And Josh Giddey plays like he's playing in a pickup game all the time, no matter what the situation is. And it's frustrating to watch. But to get back to Zach LaVine, watching him, there was a 31-point performance last week. Seeing what he did last night, it's the first time I feel like, and I could be wrong, it's the first time where I've seen him this happy on a basketball court. Not that he was a sourpuss or anything, but Zach, if you go back and watch, you don't have to watch the whole game. Although I'll save that for later on. But he was giddy, not Josh Giddey, giddy last night. He was smiling. That's why I made that the thumbnail for this episode. Whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify or Apple, go look at the thumbnail. It's Zach LaVine smiling. And it's like a big, he's a really good looking guy. It's a big, beautiful smile, and he's happy. And watching him play like he played last night, I was happy. He's, for the first time in his career as a Bull, I don't know if this ever happened while he was in Minnesota, but as a Bull, I feel like I'm watching someone who is playing free. And maybe that's because he understands I have to play my way up out of here. If I want an opportunity to be on the biggest stage and I want to play for a division championship or play for the playoffs and any of that stuff, anywhere where there's winning involved, because throughout his career, he has never been part of winning outside of Team USA. This gives him an opportunity. And I appreciate that he has taken advantage of it. It's one thing to know what your situation is. It's another thing to actively engage and go, oh, okay, my only way out of here is if I play great. And if I look like I can be a team player, that I can do this in the confines of the offense that we're running. Oh, okay, cool. I can do that. I got to give him some credit. That's a level of maturity that I didn't know was in him. And he is doing that. And that needs to be, we call out guys all the time. And you guys know, I have been really, really unimpressed with Zach LaVine. Even though I think that he's a really nice guy that's kind of just fallen into some stuff that he has had control of and didn't want to take control of. I look at him over the first 15 games of the season and say, here's a guy who understands the assignment. You want to leave? You want to go somewhere and get a chance at winning? Because it's not going to be here for a while. You have to play within the confines of the offense. Be a good teammate. Go make incredible shots. Stay healthy. Look explosive. You do all of those things, and you'll get up out of here. They will trade you to someone who will understand your value as an offensive shot maker, and you can get up out of here. So I wish him a lot of luck, and I hope this continues. It's a fun thing to watch him play the way that he's playing. And the wins and losses don't matter that much to me because I know that the Bulls are going to be blown up. If they can be, if Vooch continues to play well and Zach continues to play well, those guys are going to be traded. I just have enjoyed watching this version of Zach. One more thing before I go. I was talking with an executive over at CHSN, and I'm trying to get the answer to this. And if this has been your experience while you're watching games, I'd love to know that signal, if you can actually get it. And I know that that's still a thing. It is crystal clear. I'm a little jealous as someone who worked at NBC Sports Chicago. I'm like, that feed looks better than ours. And I'm wondering if I'm imagining it, but that feed looks better. It looks clean. So I'm trying to find out why it looks so clean, but it looks clean. It looks good. Now it's just a matter of getting everyone on board and everyone being able to consume it. And you can get the app and you can pay for the app if you want. You want it direct to consumer, it's available for you now. Might cost a little bit more than you were expecting, but it's out there and you can have it. But that's all I got today. I wanted to give props to Zach LaVine because I have been one of his biggest detractors. And I think that what he's doing right now is pretty awesome. I hope it continues. I hope he gets what he wants. I hope the Bulls get what they want. And I hope eventually Bulls fans get what they want. And that's an opportunity for a winner. I'll talk to you next time. All right. Shout out to Remy Martin. Peace.